Microphone check 1 2. We are here. I am Ecussionist. This is lesson number 9, celebrating number 9 with NGO Radio Terra. And excuse me. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being with us, and we're going to continue to remain committed to providing the best free lessons in the internet. So this week we are going to continue our focus on metronome work, and we're going to continue our focus on call and answer, but this time we're going to continue to use the metronome while we do that. So I wanted to also spice it up a little bit and bring the triggers into it. So I've got a trigger on my snare, and I'm also using a KT10 kick pedal. And then I have also got my acoustic kick. I've been thinking that I definitely should do a series on the SPDSs, and that's going to come later, but I'm going to go ahead and access the click. Going to go down to system, and the output is going to be set to master out. So now you're going to hear the click. Okay. So, as I said before, when the click sounds less loud or it almost disappears, that's when you're playing right along with the click. When you're playing just right off of it, either before it or right after it, you can hear it. And you can hear it even if you're just ever so slightly off. And it doesn't mean you're not playing good time, but it means you're not playing perfect time if you're not hitting directly in the center of that beat. Now, one thing I will say about perfect time is that time is sort of subjective. So, some people like drummers who play loose while the bass player plays real tight. Some people like the opposite, with the drummer playing real tight and the bass player playing real loose. Some people like drummers whose feet are more laid back and their hands are more tight. You know, that's all just examples of people who prefer the feel to be a certain thing. So let's not get it confused between what feel is and what good time is, right? Playing good time means that you can play a loop on the drums and keep it at the same tempo without speeding up or slowing down. How it feels, though, whether it's sloppy or loose or tight or a combination, is all in the feel of it. So when we're playing with the metronome, let's play a beat and let's play around with playing it in the center, playing it behind the beat, and playing it in front of the beat. And that will allow us to understand and hear more when we're playing that way in a real live setting. So all right, so let's play it way behind the beat. Back in the center. All right, now let's play it really in the front of the beat. Center. All right, now I'm going to put the hi-hat back behind the beat. Now the snare's behind the beat. Okay, good. Let's try another tempo. Hi-hat behind. Ahead. Center. Behind. Center. Cool. So I like to do different exercises, different rhythmic exercises in my right hand to practice subdividing at each different tempo. So that's why it's important to go from straight tempos to triplet and swung tempos at every single BPM. All right, let's go to another tempo. And let's try some different sounds. So right there, I'm playing a triplet pattern in my right hand. I'm playing 2 and 4 in my left hand, and then I'm emphasizing a straight feel in my foot. So as if my right hand were doing. And my right hand is doing. My right foot, right hand. Two opposing things. And where those two rhythms meet is at a flam. So there's that little rhythmic rub between the right foot and the hi-hat that does that. So right there it is. Right? So I'm just messing around right here. I should stop. Hey, listen. It's too much fun to play the drums, and this is why I get carried away, especially when I play to the metronome, because here's my concept. You wanna make the metronome your friend. You wanna make it seem like when you're playing with it, you're choosing with how to make it feel. You can make the metronome play on the upbeats. You can make the metronome play on triplets. You can make the metronome be ahead of you, make the metronome be behind you. You can play exactly with the metronome. And for me, it's sort of the hardest to play exactly with the metronome every single beat. So where you want to be thinking is every single quarter note you should be aware of. And it doesn't matter if you're perfect. Sometimes I don't hit one exactly. Sometimes I don't hit three exactly. Sometimes I don't hit 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly. And if you don't hit 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly, you should be aware of that and keep going. If it's a situation where you have to start over, fine, but don't start over just because you don't like the where you placed the beats initially. That's what practicing is for. It's all about working towards perfecting the spaces in between each beat. It's all about being accountable for every beat that you play. That's why overplaying sucks, because you can't keep track of all those beats if you can't keep track of all those beats. If you can, though, great. That's what we love. Everybody loves to hear a drummer who can play a lot of beats and keep track of all of them and make sure they land exactly where they need to land. But if you're not sure, then you got to keep practicing until it sounds the way you want it to sound. So, I'm aware of every single beat. And the more limbs you add, the more you have to be aware of all of those beats. Now I'm dragging. Now I'm playing in the center. Now I'm rushing. Now I'm back in the center. And I'm aware of every quarter note, the space in between them, how wide the beat is. Okay, let's talk about the physical aspect of playing good time and making it feel good, right? So, there's things that I do with my body sometimes that I'm not aware of, right? I'm sometimes not aware that I'm tensing up in my lower back, or I'm sometimes not aware of that I'm hunching over. And when you do that, you're cutting off air supply, you're choking the reverberations that can pass through your body more effectively. When your arms are tucked into your torso, your chest cavity can't resonate with the drums, with the cymbals, with the frequencies moving from the other instruments on stage. So it's really important to be aware that while you do need to be kind of in your zone or in your comfort space physically, You also want to be able to break out of that and stretch out and breathe and make yourself more erect in posture so that you can change the way that things are going. You know, if you feel yourself not able to lock in to the tempo, sometimes it has to do with the fact that your body isn't physically right yet. So, like for instance, I've got an acoustic kick drum and I've got a digital kick. And the digital kick is about 4.5 inches further to my right, and like 2 inches further, 2 inches closer to me. It's not the most comfortable place for my foot. But if I want to have two kick pedals right now, the way my setup is, I have to have it at this awkward place, which means I have to practice my foot being at an awkward place, which means that every time I switch back and forth, it's going to change how I feel. It's going to change the way my body sits. So be very aware that once your body starts sitting in a certain position, in a certain place, on a certain pedal, try and stay there, or you have to practice getting back and forth between those two places, those two pedals, those two pads, those two things. These are all things that you have to account for because the change in space and distance affects your time and feel. I also want to say that the longer a sound resonates, the wider the beat sounds. So when you hit the acoustic kick, it triggers the acoustic nature of all the other drums. And when you hit the acoustic kick, it doesn't. Or excuse me, the electronic kick, it doesn't. It's just dead space. So that also changes my own perception of how long each beat should be with the click. It's like how my brain treats both of these sounds is two different ways. And so I have to be aware that this digital kick is thinner in time. It takes up less space across linear time than this acoustic kick. Dead. And when I say dead, I mean the resonance has died. So dead. Electronic kick, dead. Immediately. All right, so the way I'm sitting here is going to be different than the way I'm sitting here. Physically. Let's try another tempo. Okay, and you know what? This is a prime example. I want to make a note of this right now, that the reason why I settled into this tempo so gracefully, with my one being right along with the click, is because I internalized the tempo more so in my body than I did some of the other times when I was explaining and then not really internalizing and just jumping right in. So really think about that when you just jump right in, you may not have internalized the beat, and therefore your pocket or your time or your feel may not be where you want it to be. So here we go. I'm internalizing the beat by really listening to it, taking a couple bars. Take the amount of time that you need before you come in with your beat to really ease into the groove and to really know where it sits and to be comfortable with it. And pay attention to every quarter note. Already, I just want to introduce you to my thought process. Already, I thought to myself, I didn't nail it like I wanted to. I wanted to stop. I kept going. Then where my thought process went to immediately after that was reminding myself to listen to every single quarter note. The things I tell all of you out here are the same things I tell myself and the same things that I follow. So best believe that the advice I'm giving to you, I give to myself. And then I thought to myself, after I thought, refocus on every quarter note. Okay, how do you do that? How is my listening? Is my 1 on, but my 2 and 3 is ahead of the beat, or is 2 and 4 both behind the beat and everything else is on? I'm acknowledging and I'm observing myself. So let's put on the click again. I'll internalize the beat, and then I'm going to go right in and make it smooth. Feels so good. you know, I'm sitting here, I'm practicing, I'm playing, I'm observing myself, and I'm realizing that when I hit the crash cymbals, my beat twos are kind of off. Like when I go somewhere else, coming back to beat two perfectly is not happening. Let's try and make that perfect now that I'm aware of it. Okay, I think that I ironed out the kinks a little bit. As soon as I realized that my beat two was kind of weak after hitting a cymbal, it got tighter. This is just something I think that is great for you guys all out here watching to see that as I'm practicing, I'm getting better as I'm showing you the things that I know to make myself better. And I guess that's the way it should be, but sometimes people don't always practice what they preach. With that being said, I'm going to have another sip of coffee and do 5 minutes of call and response with you all. So if you've got an instrument at home, in the 4-bar space that I leave, go ahead, play your idea. too much fun, as is the case with every single week. And I want to thank everybody for sticking with these lessons and for sticking with their instrument. My name is Ecussionist, and this is NGO Radio Terra's weekly lessons. This is lesson number 9. We talked about metronome, how to use the metronome, how to play against the metronome in multiple ways, and I played you guys some different sounds to spice it up. And we did way more than 5 minutes of call and answer between the two of us. And we're going to keep doing this and keep on being consistent with the message. It's all about playing drums, and it's all about being musical. We respect the tradition and we respect the foundations so that we could take it into the stratosphere in the future. This is Ecussionist signing off. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for being with me. See you for lesson number 10. Love you very much. Have a good one. Keep playing drums. Peace.